My dad works at NASA. Those 5 words were all it took for the classroom to explode with laughter. Kids clutched their stomachs, desks rattled, and one boy even shouted, "Yeah, right. And my dad is Spider-Man." Liam stood frozen, his face burning red. This was career day. Everyone else got applause, but he got mocked like a joke. What they didn't know, what none of them knew, was that Liam wasn't just telling the truth. He was telling a truth bigger than anything their little minds could imagine. While they laughed, Liam kept glancing at the clock. Because his dad wasn't just a NASA employee. He was one of the engineers responsible for the propulsion systems that would take humans deeper into space. And right when the teacher said, "Let's thank our speakers." Knock, knock. The room froze. The door opened, and in stepped a tall man in a dark blue NASA suit with a glowing badge that read, "Dr. Marcus Hale, Senior Propulsion Engineer." Every kid who laughed at Liam went silent. Every smirk vanished, because the truth had just walked into the room, and it wore NASA on its chest. The laughter started like a spark, soft at first, then spreading through the room like wildfire. Liam wasn't even finished speaking when it hit him. "My dad works at NASA," he repeated, a little softer this time, but still trying to sound confident. He lifted his chin, hoping his voice wouldn't shake. He believed that if he said it proudly enough, maybe, just maybe, people would believe him. They didn't. Instead, the entire classroom erupted in giggles. A few kids covered their mouths, but most didn't even try. One boy in the front row practically shouted, "Oh yeah, and my dad is Iron Man." The room burst into a second wave of laughter, louder this time. Liam felt his face heat up, his ears burning red. He wanted to sink into the floor. He was shy on normal days, a quiet kid who rarely spoke unless he had to. But today was special, career day. A day where every student stood up proudly and said what their parents did. A day where kids clapped for firefighters, applauded nurses, and gasped at mechanics who made engines roar. This was the first time Liam had said something about his dad. He never bragged, never lied, and never tried to be the center of attention. But when he said those 6 simple words, "My dad works at NASA," he instantly became the class clown, the punchline to a joke he didn't understand. Miss Carter, the teacher, stood frozen at her desk. She wasn't laughing, but she wasn't stopping the laughter either. She stared at Liam with a strange expression, half confusion, half guilt, like she wanted to defend him, but didn't know if she should. She had known Liam for 2 years, and had never once heard him lie. Still, NASA. It sounded unbelievable. Liam swallowed hard. He blinked quickly, fighting the sting in his eyes. He didn't want to cry. Not here, not in front of them. But what no one in that room understood was this. Liam was the only one telling the truth. His classmates didn't know that every morning at 4 a.m., his dad left for one of the most secretive facilities in the country. They didn't know that his dad played a role in missions they saw on TV. They didn't know that behind Liam's shy face was a child bursting with pride. And in exactly 7 minutes, the truth, tall, real, and undeniable, was going to walk through the classroom door. To the world outside, Dr. Marcus Hale looked like an ordinary man. Neighbors saw him come home late, wearing a simple jacket, holding a lunchbox, sometimes rubbing the exhaustion from his eyes. No one imagined he was one of NASA's top propulsion engineers. At home, he was even more ordinary, at least to Liam. He wasn't the kind of dad who walked around talking about rockets or planets. He didn't decorate his office with astronaut posters or brag at dinner parties. Instead, he burned pancakes every Saturday, forgot where he left his keys at least 3 times a week, and insisted on helping Liam with science homework even when he was half asleep. But every morning before the sun rose, Dr. Hale put on a special badge. It read, NASA, Propulsion and Deep Space Systems. He was part of a team working on a propulsion design, so advanced it was still under lock and key. Missions for the next decade, missions that would push human exploration further into space, rested partly in his hands. Liam admired him more than anyone in the world. But at school, nobody believed him. Whenever kids bragged about parents who owned shops or drove trucks or worked in banks, Liam stayed quiet. He had learned long ago that the more unbelievable the truth was, the fewer people believed it. When career day was announced, Liam felt a spark of hope. Maybe this year, things would be different. Maybe his dad could come and show the class that science wasn't boring. Maybe people would finally see that he wasn't making things up. But the morning of career day, in the soft glow of dawn, Dr. Hale let out a tired sigh as he drove Liam to school. "Son, there's an emergency meeting at the lab. I might not make it in time," he admitted. Liam's heart dropped. "Okay," he whispered, trying to smile. "I understand." Still, he hoped. He hoped all morning. And as he stood in class being laughed at by kids who treated truth like a joke, he wished more than anything that his dad would walk through that door, not to impress them, not to prove anything, just to show he wasn't alone. Career day continued like nothing had happened. A firefighter strode in first, proudly showing off his helmet and explaining how he rushed into burning buildings. The class sat in awe. Then a nurse came in with stories of emergencies, saving lives, and helping babies take their first breath. Then a mechanic with grease-stained hands explained how engines roared to life under his touch. The room clapped for everyone except Liam. Miss Carter kept glancing to the door. She looked hopeful, almost guilty. Maybe she suspected Liam might have told the truth after all. Liam kept his eyes on the clock, praying, wishing, imagining the door opening just for him. But minutes passed. Parents finished presenting. Students packed their bags. And Miss Carter finally stood to dismiss them. "All right, class. Let's all thank our visitors for." Knock. Knock. The classroom froze. 2 knocks. Firm. Confident. The door opened, and for a moment, no one breathed. A tall man stood in the doorway, wearing a dark blue flight suit. The kind you only see in documentaries or NASA press conferences. Stitched across his chest in bold white letters. NASA. Children gasped. The room fell completely silent, like someone had muted the world. His badge glinted under the lights. Dr. Marcus Hale, Senior Propulsion Engineer. Liam's heart thundered. He didn't know whether to smile or cry. Dr. Hale stepped into the room, holding a metal briefcase in one hand and a stack of NASA mission patches in the other. "Sorry I'm late," he said casually, as if this were normal. "Security took longer than usual." Liam watched every kid who had laughed at him shrink back in their seats. Their faces went pale. Their eyes widened. The boy who claimed his dad was Iron Man nearly fell out of his chair. For the first time that day, Liam lifted his head with pride, real burning pride. His dad had come. And suddenly, the joke wasn't funny anymore. Dr. Hale didn't waste time. He didn't walk in with arrogance or the attitude of someone trying to prove a point. Instead, he began with a warm smile. "Good afternoon, everyone," he said calmly. "Today, I want to show you something that might change how you think about the future." He placed a metal case on the desk and clicked it open. The class leaned forward. Inside was a prototype of an ion propulsion engine, a small, sleek device with glowing blue coils and delicate metal plates. "This," he explained, "is similar to the propulsion systems we're developing for deep space missions. Engines that could take us farther than we've ever gone." The class stared in awe. Suddenly, the boy who mocked Liam earlier couldn't blink. Dr. Hale showed videos, astronauts floating in space, rockets launching in clouds of fire, Mars rovers exploring alien landscapes. The children were mesmerized. Even Miss Carter leaned forward like a student herself. As he continued, his tone changed from technical to inspirational. "Science isn't magic," he said. "It's curiosity. It's asking questions others are too scared to ask. And sometimes the quietest people, the ones you overlook, are the ones who dream the biggest." His eyes softened as he turned toward Liam. "And sometimes," he added, "those quiet people happen to be standing right next to you every day." Every head in the classroom turned toward Liam. Dr. Hale rested a hand on Liam's shoulder. "This young man helps me test ideas at home. I learn from him. He's curious, smart, and creative. He sees the world differently." Liam turned bright red, but for the first time, it wasn't from embarrassment. It was from pride. The kids who mocked him earlier shifted uncomfortably in their seats. They weren't laughing. They were listening. Really listening. And for the first time, they saw Liam not as the quiet kid in the back row, but as the kid whose father literally built the future. By the time Dr. Hale finished, The room erupted in applause. Not polite applause, real applause. The kind that fills a room and shakes the walls. Kids rushed toward him with questions. Do you know astronauts? Have you touched a spaceship? How do rockets not explode? Can we really live on Mars? Dr. Hale answered every question with patience and genuine excitement. He handed out NASA patches, stickers, and small mission cards. The students treated each one like treasure. Liam stood beside him, watching in shock. These were the same students who laughed at him an hour ago, but now they looked at him with new eyes, respectful eyes. As the room began to empty, one of the boys who had mocked him earlier approached slowly. "Hey, Liam," he said quietly, scratching the back of his neck. "I'm sorry for before. I really didn't know." Liam shrugged softly. "It's okay." But inside, something powerful shifted. That simple moment, the apology, the understanding, the recognition, meant more than the boy could ever know. That day became legend at the school. Everyone talked about the NASA guy who walked into their classroom. But more importantly, they talked about Liam, the kid who told the truth and was laughed at until the truth walked through the door wearing a NASA flight suit. In the weeks that followed, everything changed for Liam. He stopped sitting alone at lunch. Kids asked him questions about stars, rockets, and planets. Some even asked him to join their group projects. He joined a robotics club. He built a model rocket that actually flew. He won the school's innovation award the next year. And every time he felt nervous, every time he doubted himself, he remembered his dad's words. Never shrink your dreams just because others can't see them. Because now he understood something deeply. People laugh when they don't understand. They laugh when they're unsure. They laugh because they can't imagine something big. But when the truth walks into the room, the laughter stops, and everything changes. From that day on, everything changed for Liam. The same kids who mocked him now crowded around him with questions about rockets, planets, and astronauts. Liam didn't brag. He didn't need to. His dad's presence spoke louder than any words. He joined robotics, built rockets, and discovered a confidence he never knew he had. And whenever he doubted himself, he remembered his father's voice. Never shrink your dreams just because others can't see them. Because laughter fades. But the truth walks in, stands tall, and inspires the world.